we're down here at your place. What's it called, this place you got?
It's Paulie's Boxing.
Paulie's Boxing. And I first met you, it must be 10 years ago. You were Pat Barrett's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Down at Moston Colliers. Which is weird, because we've got Chris, who's helping out, Chris Morrow now, who's helping you out there.
Yeah.
I think he was training under you there as a pro, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And then now he's back here helping you out.
Helping me out.
And all I can say is, it's a lovely little place, but I think you're going to need to get a bigger gym, mate.
Yeah, it's tight at the moment, but it's okay like this. It works at the moment. It's crowded.
Yeah.
But you can create a better atmosphere on a packed.
Yeah.
On a packed gym, a small gym, than a bigger gym and then no atmosphere.
Yeah, no atmosphere. Yeah. But today's been a pure tech day. I've come down here because you brought a young kid, Monet, to Steve Wood, my boss.
Yeah.
Now he's manager, and he makes his debut. I think it's 2 weeks on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I've come down to catch up with him, and I thought it'd be rude not to catch up with you, because I think at the end of this month, it was 20 years ago that you made your professional debut over here.
Yeah, if you never said that, I wouldn't have been like, you would never clock on. I wouldn't have clocked on a long time ago, 20 years. That's made me feel old.
But only a short career, 10 fights, but you achieved the Central Area belt.
Yeah, I did.
Where you beat Joe Ainscough.
Yeah.
From Liverpool, good kid. I think we've got one of his relations boxes, but I think Joe Cavana is his cousin. Oh, no, he's not. I'll tell you who it was. I can't think of his name, but I know he's related to one of the kids that we've been fighting to us as well.
Yeah.
So, and as you just said then, does it feel like 20 years?
It doesn't actually. It's a long time, but it doesn't. If you didn't say that, I wouldn't even never come across my mind, to be honest.
Because you're from Portugal.
Yeah. So
how did you get over to England?
I came as a sparring partner. I came as a friend of mine back then who was fighting Tommy McDonald for the WBU at Yemen. And I got invited to come as a sparring partner. I came for 2 weeks, just sparring, then went back. And his manager told me, you want to come over and turn pro, because I was still amateur. Come and turn pro, I think you do well because you're quite strong and you're stubborn, you can do well. So I thought, you know what, that's probably what I needed. So I just packed my things up and just came. Couldn't speak the language, but I still came in.
How long did it take you to pick up the language?
It took me a while. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the biggest struggles, was the language.
And in your career, you sort of like thrown in the deep end. There was no nurturing you, was there? There was none of those learning fights.
No.
You didn't have those, like what we're going to get for Manai when he makes his debut. We're going to get that guy that we expect him to be, but he'll teach him a couple of lessons and welcome him into the pro game. You just thrown in the deep end straight away, wasn't you?
I fought 10 prospects, and in my eyes I beat them all. And they can be standing next to me and I tell them, even if I didn't got a decision, I can say I beat you. And tell me if I'm wrong. Even the kid from Liverpool, he fought in the Olympics when the heavyweight for Harrison, when he got the gold. What's the name now? That's so relevant it was. I even keep forgetting their name. And I was in Liverpool talking, I beat this guy, so he was good. And then the other bully, he just turned up on nowhere. And he just went, I remember you. How did I got a decision in that fight? I don't know, but wow. But he was one of them. I was used as a gentleman. I didn't know what gentleman means. No. I thought boxing was fair.
But it can't really class you as a gentleman, because you weren't. You were a man on the road with no backing, just looking to gain wins everywhere you can, and taking every opportunity that you got. Like I say, that ended up you winning the Central Area title. I think it was only about your 5th or 6th fight, was it?
Yeah, fifth fight, I think it was. 4th or 5th, something like that. But Julian Scroff's name was already on the belt, by the way.
His belt, is that the old belt on the wall?
Yeah, but they had to send another belt because his name was already on the belt. When I got it, I was like, what's his name doing already in there? It's like, and it was a good fight, actually. It was a good fight.
But so I think it lasted about 5 years, your career. So how did you end up staying over here then after that, or did you ever go back home? Or
no, I go home just on holidays now. So I like the culture. I like Manchester, and I think the way I think and in England, I gelled well. It was the barrier was the language, and when you go past that barrier, then I think it suits me how my life is here and how it was.
Well then, when I met you, you said you worked about 12 years ago when you. So was that near enough after you finished your career? You started working with Pat at Moss and Colliers.
Yeah. No, I was with Wayne Barker.
All right.
Man called Wayne Barker. I started with him, but then when I realised that he was doing stuff that I'm not supposed to as a manager, and I decided to change. Then I got introduced to Brian Hughes.
Right. Yeah.
There was a man called Kevin Kinsella.
Yeah.
He took me to Brian Hughes. At the time when I got to Colliers, Pat was in there. Robbie Reed, Gary Lockie, Tommy McDonald, Mike Jennings, Davy Barnes, and everyone was
quality gym, wasn't it?
Wow. Everyone was like kids that I used to watch on TV. I thought Robbie Reed was Italian. I thought he was Italian, then I realised he's only from Liverpool, Bronco.
I did win his world title, his WBC over in Italy as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and so I got there, I got 2 weeks as a trial. I was there for 2 weeks as a trial, see if I'm allowed to train there. And for 2 weeks I worked my ass off and I think I want to stay in this gym. So I had to prove them that I belonged there. So I gave Robbie Reed, because then I became Robbie Reed's sparring partner.
Right.
So I gave Robbie Reed, at one point I even asked Brian Hughes, can I fight in his place? Because he's asking me to take it easy, and I'm like, you're world champion, I'm a nobody. But I didn't know how the system works.
No.
I didn't know how the system works. So I thought boxing was
business
like,
more than it.
I thought like back in the day, you just stand up and fight, and then if you win, you win, you lose, you lose. But then it doesn't work like that. You got system, you got rules, you got to go in the queue.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I was right far back in the queue. But then I stopped training under Brian. Took me a year. I was already pro, but it took me a year to.
Well, how did you find that? Because Brian was like Manchester answer to Gustamano, wasn't he? You know, he was a legend of the sport.
Yeah, but Brian never, because the way Brian was merging the lads, Brian never actually sat down with me and then go through things with me like he done eventually with Scott Quigg. And I was like, Brian used to talk, say to Mike Jennings, and I'm listening to what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I'm taking on board what he's saying. I was one of them. You don't have to babysit me. I can listen. I'm a good listener, and I take on board what I think is right, and it's got to make common sense in my head.
Well, I could hear that today, because today's been a tech day, hasn't it?
Yeah,
You've got all the lads in there. Your son, who's doing amazingly, he's 5-0 now as a pro. Like I said, Manai, I'm coming to talk to you in a little bit, he's making his debut. All the other kids were all amateurs here, all different ages and all different levels. But you were sat there, and it was, again, as with most of the, and this is where you've learned your coaching skills, is that defence is a very important part of your game, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, as aggressive as your fighters are, defence is where it all starts, isn't it? And hence that's what I was learning today when you were coaching.
Yeah, well, Brian, like I went to Brian. When I went to Brian, I had no defence. I was just stubborn, coming forwards. I could take a punch, and I keep coming, and I was fit, strong and fit, but no defence. My defence was my offence. And then when I got to Brian, it took me a year till Brian said, I think you're good to go. 1 year. And I'm like, this guy, I thought it was a joke. I thought he wasn't interested. When I got a fight, a guy called Dan Duffrey, and he was knocking everyone out, and I stopped him in 2 rounds. And it was a good thing that happened. I beat a prospect, a big prospect, and my boxing career was over after that.
Because no one wants to.
Because it took me then another 3 years till I actually got another fight. And I realised that boxing is not. If you don't sell tickets, I remember bumping into Steve Woods a day after I stopped. Then he was on Sky, and then it was Adam Smith that said, you realise that you spoiled the show. It was a co-main event on a Sky show, and I stopped the prospect. And who's this guy? Then I bumped into Steve Woods the day after, and Steve was like, "Well, that was impressive." And he's like, "Oh, can you sell tickets?" I'm like, "I can't even speak English, never mind." I'm like, I knew a handful of people, and I didn't know no one, so I said, "No, sir, I can't do nothing with you." That's when I start putting two and two together in my head and realize that boxing is a business. And I tell all my lads, it doesn't matter how good you are. You got to be able to sell yourself. You need to become a good product. Not just being dedicated to the sport, train hard. You got to look good. You got to be able to talk. You need to have the whole package. And this is what I'm trying to tell these kids. And
well, hopefully we're going to be working a lot with you over the next few years. Because obviously, from behind there's another kid. Very exciting lad who I love filming as an amateur called Curtis Fitzsimmons, and hopefully everything gets sorted with him, and he'll be joining us later on in the year. But then your son, who's your son managed by?
Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah,
Nova Sport.
And people are talking about him as a genuine prospect, and I know because I filmed him quite a few times as an amateur. And he didn't have many fights as an amateur.
No, he had 14 amateur fights.
And he was a kid that when I first met him, when you were helping out down at Bridgewater, he was a chubby little kid who didn't look like a fighter.
He didn't want to know about boxing back then.
No. And what was the flick the switch that flicked on him to change him into being the young man that he is now?
Well, he wasn't leaving with me. I used to see him, I used to pick him up occasionally and come and stay with me. And he got himself into trouble, he got kicked out. And then I took him on board and said, "This is my son, I'm not going to leave you out." So he started move with me. And everywhere he was going, people, "Oh, you Paulie's son, oh, you Paulie's son." And then one day he just turned up and just said, Dad, I want to become a professional boxer. And I thought, he doesn't look like that. And because he was around Zelfi and Leon quite a lot, and seeing him with flashy trainers and expensive clothes, he thought, I turn professional, I can have some of that. But then I had to show him that there's more to it than just become a... You don't wake up and say... Well,
he's obsessed with it now though, isn't he? He's absolutely...
So what I did something that not many parents probably will do. I made sure he got the right beating. He got the beating of his life. That same day. I got the kid. I said, forget my son. Get in the ring and just beat him up. Yeah, it was 3 or 4 kids coming one by one, and then spar him. But don't feel sorry for him. He got to the point that Pat took me to the office. Tommy McDonald. Give him a right bollocking saying, "Oh, he's gonna, don't do that to him. You're gonna discourage him. He doesn't want to. He will give up the sport." I said, "Listen, if he's half of what I was, he'll come back. If he's not, then he's not gonna be wasting my time." And come out of the ring, clean all the blood that was in his face, get in the car. I just ran. "You wanna go and play basketball or whatever?" He just ran. No, I'm training tomorrow." But it's the way he said it. After that beating,
you knew
it's the way he said it inside me. I thought, you know what? Now we're ready to start working. And then a year went past. All those kids got what they deserved from what he did to him. And the last one was how's it called now? Niall McIntosh.
Oh, right, Niall was a very good amateur, but
he was very good.
Time national champion.
Exactly, and Mar was nothing. And I told Pat and I told Tommy, Mar will have this kid down the line. And they all told me boxing doesn't work like that. They all told me that, and I said, the way I'm going to train Maru, the way I want Maru to become, and the way Niall is stylistic, Maru will have him. And one day I went to Maru. Couple of years down the line, Maru, you're gonna spar Niall, and you should have seen what he done to Niall. He gave Niall a beating that was the first spar they had, and that was the last spar they had.
Well, this is how I know as well, because I phoned you up after the fight because he got a great stoppage win over Jake Bray, who's a very, very tough man. Very rarely gets stopped. But then I think 2 fights afterwards, he fought one of the best journeymen on the circuit, Jordan Grannon. And I'm quite friendly with Jordan, and he phoned me up afterwards and we was talking, and he spoke about his son, and he went, one of the best prospects I've been in with. And when you consider all the people he's been in with, who've gone on to, you know, the levels that you all dream about going to, that's a high statement. And so I think a lot of people are going to be talking about your son in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's ticking the boxes, and like you seen, as soon as he walked in, as soon as he came in, he's like, oh Dad, you want to watch this thing that this book that I was reading of Mike Tyson and that. He's like, the way I at first I had to drill him to do the things. Now he drills me. Now he drills me. I want to have a break. He's like, Dad, watch this. Dad, what's that? Like, now he's on a zone now. I don't have to tell him to go for runs. I don't have to tell him to. It's the other way around. I tell him chill out. He goes for 2-hour runs. If I running that much for, he's just on it, like you've seen. He's just on it.
Well, like I say, well, getting back to this place, like I say, exciting times coming ahead, because I said you hope we're going to bring another couple of lads to us, and Steve will hopefully keep them busy. You're going to have a fantastic journey with your son. Looks like you might need to get a bigger gym soon, because you've got amateur shows coming up.
7th of March.
Is this going to be your first solo amateur show? Or
No, we done. This is the 3rd one. Yeah, me and Sean Crew.
Right, yeah,
so
Fight Factory.
Fight Factory, yes.
Yeah. Once you left, Paulie, you ended up working with Sean, didn't you?
With Sean, yeah.
For a couple of years.
And then we created the Fight Factory ABC.
Right.
We got the gym affiliated. I created the amateurs from there.
In fact, one of the kids you were working with today in the ring,
Duke Scott, yes.
Duke Scott. I think I filmed him on a Halliwell show. Might have been a year ago, might have been last year. It looks like a good kid.
Yeah, he's another one that eventually will join Steve Woods as well.
So you're going to hopefully have a little conveyor belt going over?
Yeah. It's time. With him, it's almost time. I just need the pen to click in his head.
Yeah.
And but yeah, but like I was telling before, like if you watch Steve Maley's gym, it's only a small gym, and look why it's produced.
Of course.
So it's not about the size of the gym, it's what you do actually when you're in, with what you've got. And this at the moment is what I can afford. And
is Chris a great help for you then? Because like I say, you helped him in his formative years as a professional. Now I believe he actually come back because his career was cut short by injury.
Yeah, he wanted to do a comeback.
Yeah.
And start training, lost all the weight, but the problem with his spine, I think his spine, and he was doing some technical work with Marl, and the pain came back. He went to check and they said he needs operation, and the risk of severely damage, and he's got 2 daughters he needs to think of, so retirement was like
but now that's in his head, that's out of the way, and he's enjoying it now.
Because I know Chris, before he started going under, I told him, listen, you see I'm on my own here, I need help. So you know your boxing, and there's a lot of things that you do well, and then a lot of times I've not got the time to do it, or I rely on the fighters to do it. And like this, you can be in charge, you make sure that they do their runs, you keep checking their weight, you do all this, and then I can focus on when I'm out taking a lot spot. He keeps the gym.
He keeps everything ticking over.
So he works well.
Yeah, lovely man.
And he's ambitious, he's starving, and his enthusiasm is like, second to none.
I think that's a big thing with yourself. You're very enthusiastic to prove yourself as a solo man now. You know what I mean?
Solo coach,
You've worked with some great people, and now it's time for you to.
That's one of the things that made me go on my own. Like it's more to myself. I think now. I think myself. I'm a really good coach, and then how do you prove yourself? You start from the beginning. So I'm starting right from scratch. Kids that no one know, kids that not done nothing, and I'm building them up. Like you see the little girl that's there, Paulie Da Silva. She's
tiny.
She's tiny. I tell you what, this girl will become national champion.
Yeah.
She will. She's intelligent. She's the best kid in her school. She's intelligent, and she's powerful. And she's like a little pit bull. She's like a little 41 kg, but I tell you what, she's a handful. A left hook, oh my God. So this is, and my satisfaction is seeing kids that are coming from nothing into something. And like my son Mauro is a good proof.
Exactly.
No one touched him. So I mold him, and then whatever you see is like is made by me. So.
Well, listen, I'm excited to follow the journey of. Obviously, I've been following your son's journey ever since he laced up the gloves.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this journey with us and Steve Wood, VIP, and hopefully we can go somewhere, mate.
Long-term relationship.
Paulie, you take care. And am I coming down on the 7th then?
Yes, 7th of March.
Right, well then, where's that going to be at? Just to let people know.
Odenshaw is...
well, you sent me the poster, so as we talk here, I'll stick that in the video, and people can see it if they want to come down for a good night of amateur boxing.
Be a good night there.
See all these talented lads that I've been filming today, then it should be a fun night.
The last show was amazing. Lee Whitehead, credit to Lee.
Top man.
Top man. He done a good matchmaking. It was good 50-50 bouts in there. It was really good matchmaking.
Yeah.
I have to give that to Lee.
Well, like I say, the amateurs, the good thing about amateurs, they're all always well matched because it is 50-50.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
It's just when you get into the pro game, it can get a little bit murky at times.
Yeah.
But the amateurs is still a bit pure, and it's still a sport.
Yeah.
Paulie, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Pleasure, mate.
See you later. Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.